Welcome to Joe's Community College. This is a video series designed to help people either new to the game or returning after a long hiatus to better understand the mechanics of EVE Online. Today's video is about ore processing. When you first start playing EVE Online, one of the first things many players do to make ISK is mine. This is a rather low barrier to entry and the gameplay mechanics are relatively easy to learn. However, the question I get asked me often is, what do I do with the ore after I mine it? My answer is often very subjective and very long-winded. However, one of the things you can do is refine that ore into the materials and minerals people use. When refining, you're actually doing a service to manufacturing. As I often say in game, we don't need ore, we need minerals. With that, refining is a good way to get more ISK for your ore. However, it does take a little bit of understanding about how it works. Ore refining. Ore refining is broken down into three separate things that affect how good you can refine your ore. First is the type of ore. Obviously, it's just like the harder the ore is to get. For instance, like gneiss or other wormhole, nullsec ore and stuff like that. That has far more sale, like price point than, for instance, high sec ore, which is very easy to get. It's just like, then you also have your station. Your station determines how good or what your base reprocessing ability is. So, for instance, player stations, I think it's 39%, and then plus your skills and stuff like that. So, like for NPC stations and stuff like that might change with low sec and high sec. I don't know. I've never really actually gone into a low sec or a null sec NPC station. Actually, I don't think there are any NPC stations in null sec. With it, I apologize. I'm very unfamiliar with null sec space. But then with that, so you have that, and then on top of it, you also have your skills. As with everything in EVE, skills matter a big thing. With skills, there are three skills that are essential to ore reprocessing. The first two is reprocessing and reprocessing efficiency. These are your basic skills. Any new pilot has access to these skills right away. There's no prerequisites for them. So with it, I definitely recommend you need to get them up to 5. Once you get them up to 5, what it does is then it opens up your specialized reprocessing. So all the ore and stuff like that in the game is broken down into specific type of things. So for instance, your high sec ore, such as your Veldspar and all that stuff like that, Scordite, that's in your simple ore. It's just like you have ubiquitous ore. I mean, I won't go through all of them. You can kind of just read over because it actually tells you what it will reprocess. But ubiquitous ore is for your high sec moon ore, or the one type of high sec moon ore. There's multiple types, but the ones that we get here in Ore Cell specifically for Joe's Saloon, it's going to be ubiquitous ore. That's the one that you're going to see if you're in our community and you're looking for things. So I would recommend, this is a general use, get all those up to 5. It's just like with it, the higher you get, the more proficient you get. The more proficient you are at refining, the more money you'll make. I don't know exactly where the cutoff is on reprocessing or where you're not going to make the money. So I just recommend getting up to tier 5. I'm pretty sure you could probably do it with tier 4, but again, your yields are not going to be as profitable. Anyway, so going in and refining ore. First things first, if you're in Joe's Saloon, it's just like what we'll do is when we buy ore from people, people sell us ore on our buyback program, what we do is our guys go and we split it up into the different types of ore, and then we go and we make contracts. These contracts are open for anybody in the corporation to get. It's just like with that, you go ahead and you buy the contract. So for instance, we have 2 ubiquitous ores that are currently up here. And the price point is how much it costs at G to buy at the point in time when we put it up there. So this is about 4 days old. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and just buy these because obviously if it's been up here for 4 days, people are probably not going to do them. I kind of try and keep them for other members of the corporation. We use this as a content. It's just like if you are a reprocessor and you want to reprocess things, we'll do it for you. We'll provide it for you. It's just like you're doing the corporate service by, taking care of our stuff, and it's just like with that. Anyway, so I went ahead and bought both of those contracts. So now they are in. Come on, there we go. They are in our warehouse here. So this is the ore that we just purchased. And it's just like I'm just gonna go ahead and combine them. And it's just like what we're going to do is well, I'm going to go ahead and show you reprocessing here. So here I am. I'm currently in an Athenor in high sec. And this is where the big hoopla comes from people doing reprocessing. When I go and I reprocess this, you know, if you notice, it's like I'm paying, it's like I'm paying 1.5 million ISK to reprocess this. That is a tax. That tax is actually largely high sec. I do believe our actual corp tax on reprocessing in this Athenor is zero. It's like I don't think we're charging any tax whatsoever. However, there is always going to be a MPC tax. There's always going to be a tax on anything you do in the game using things that are based on what sector space you're in. And also, actually, if you're in an NPC station, NPC stations have base taxes that you can. There's skills you can do in trading that lower those base taxes. Ultimately, your best bang for your buck for refining is using a player structure. This is like they kind of design that really nicely. It's like the NPC stations are nice to have, and they're nice to have, go with it. However, it's like the player structures are definitely way better. So going over, and it's just like so we see a couple things here. First thing is I'm going to show you right up here. This is your percentage. It's just like so with the things that I have currently in the hopper to reprocess, I'm getting a base 72, or I'm getting a 72.4% conversion ratio. So each unit of ore, or each 100 units of ore, because you need to have at least 100 units of ore in order to reprocess it, has a specific percentage of or a specific amount of stuff that you get. So for instance, looking at here, you can go ahead and go show info and reductions. So, looking at this ore and stuff like that, it's just like it kind of goes and shows you the units that you're going to get out of it. So it's just like doing out of 100 units, I'm going to get 6,900 units of pyrite, 460 units of mexilon, and 75 units of hydrocarbon. Now that is 100%. So that is like if you had 100%, which is not possible in the game, for the record. But it's just like if you had, if it was 100% conversion ratio, that's what you would get. So me reprocessing this ore here in the Athenor, I'm going to get 72.4% of that possible yield. With it, if you hover over it, it kind of breaks it down for you. It's just like we have a 52% base yield. So remember I telling you that NPC stations are about 39% base yield, and then on top of it, you can't really change anything because of modules that you put in the stations and stuff like that have a big play on that. With that, you're not an NPC station. You're definitely going to be losing money. Now, with here in this Athenor's base yield is 50% plus whatever we put into it module wise. So with it, we have the best tier 2s available in this Athenor, and it's only giving you 52% base yield. Now with it, we also get to add on bonuses. We have bonuses from reprocessing and reprocessing efficiency. Those are the two base ones that we need. And then we also have a bonus for the ore processing skills. So in this case, ubiquitous ore, because this is all ubiquitous ore. And it's like that giving us a grand total of 72.4%. There is one other thing that is actually affecting that percentage. With it, if you look at Tobin here, Tobin actually has a bean counter RX 804 implant. This is the best implant that you can get for reprocessing ore. It is a little pricey at about 160 million ISK to buy, and it is also an 8 slot. It also takes up 8 slots. So with that, you do need to have Cybernetics 5 in order to use it. But I do recommend if you are going to go into reprocessing, this is actually one of the best things you can get, because if you notice, it gives you a 4% bonus to ore and ice reprocessing yield. So I have an extra 4% bonus compared to, from not having it. But with that, it's just like if we notice now going down here, so it's like so we have a basic estimated price. Now this, I don't know if this is Dodixie because we're in sync liaison, so Dodixie would be I just call it Dodixie. But basically, it's taking the region and giving me a price point. This is a sale price. With that, I don't know if that's buy. I think that's buy price. I've never really kind of done the math on that to figure out exactly what it is, but it's just a rough ballpark estimate, and I just use that as an estimate. Ultimately, it's just like with this, I spent 55.6 million on the contracts. Now with it, those are also 4-day-old contracts, so it's just like that could be a little bit off. Just doing a quick little check here. Um, that's not what I did. I didn't copy or paste that correctly. Copy, paste, and then again, I'm just using Eve Tycoon. This is like, so yeah, 52.1 million buy price. So honestly, actually, it's gone down a little bit since I put that up. It's because it was 55 million for all of them. But so 52.1 million is how much this is actually worth. Unfortunately, with this thing here, without reprocessing it, I can't actually tell you how much this is unless I type in all this stuff manually, which I'm not going to do because I can just tell you right now that this is not going to be profitable. The estimated price here is 57 million. This is 54 million. Plus this, which I don't know if that's just taken out of the estimated price, but I don't think it is. But bottom line is, it's like this is just not profitable. This is where people get confused because they're like, well, why is this not done? And again, as I said in the beginning of the video, the key thing is, there's three things. There's, ore, the type of ore, your skills, and then the station. So with that, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go take this over to a low-sec station. There's a Tataru in a neighboring low-sec system. The Tataru is a little bit better than an Athanor, but not much. It's like, I think its base is 52% instead of 50%. But with that, we're going to go over there, and we're going to go ahead and reprocess this. And I'll show you the difference when we get there. Okay, so here we are in a low-sec system. This is actually a Tataru that's a couple of jumps away from Orcel. But with that, I want to go ahead and show you exactly what we're talking about here. So this is like, here's our ore that we purchased from the Corp, and we're going to go ahead and reprocess this now. And it's just like, and so here we go. You can definitely see where the difference is right away from here. So instead of being 70 something, I'm actually 82.5%. If you notice, I'm getting a 59% base yield. With that, that's because this is a Tataru, so it's a little bit higher base, and then their mods are still like the highest end mods. And then on top of it, there's also actually something, I haven't found it written anywhere, but it's just like, it's just a general like knowledge thing of Eve. In low sec, things are just a little bit better. It's just like, so you have high sec, which has really high security. However, your profits and your money making and all that stuff like that are truncated a little bit by high sec. You go to low sec, and it's just like, it's a little bit better. It's got better profits and stuff like that. And then if you go to null sec and wormhole space, it's even better. And that goes like across the board with pretty much everything. Like your ratting is more difficult and more profitable. It's just like your relic sites that you find, your data sites are great. The ore out there is more profitable to mine and stuff like that. Your PI gives you better returns per planet than like HiSec does, and all that stuff like that. And it's just like the same thing comes out here for manufacturing, reprocessing, and research and stuff like that. One of the things that you'll notice is that my price point, the taxes are dramatically different. Now, again, like I said, the taxes in our Athanor are zero. Like Joe's and the people that own those stations usually don't put any taxes on them. However, the high sec tax, quote unquote, is what's generating that price point. This is like, so out here in low sec, your taxes are lower. So this is basically the Florida of of Eve. And then on top of it, because you have a better base, thing with a base yield, you're getting more yield for it. So it's just like with it, we look at our estimated price, we have 57.3 million ISK price, and it's giving us roughly 61.6. So there is better. The best you can get, perfect reprocessing is like, I think 90.8%. And that's in a nullsec station with the best mods, and then obviously you having the best skills in the implant. I don't know anybody in nullsec that has a station that I can have access to, or a wormhole or anything like that. So bottom line is, it's just like, this is pretty much, the best you're going to get without putting forth extra effort. But anyway, so let's go ahead and reprocess this. And this is like, so now it's been reprocessed. If you notice, I still have my junk here. Remember, I do say, you are going to lose a little bit of ISK, because bottom line is, it's just like things don't get mined in perfect 100 quantities. So it's just like you need to have 100 units of an ore in order to reprocess it. So you always get these little scraps. Now I usually just keep these little scraps in my hangar here. This is like, because then I'll just go and combine them at a later date. But ultimately, let's go ahead and take here. This is the stuff. Well, actually, this is kind of the stuff. This is not. That's from before because this doesn't give me tritanium. But let's go ahead and copy that, and we're going to go ahead and get a quick little appraisal just to go ahead and say what happened here. And so, yeah, so bottom line, this little bit of ore that I got, it's just like I can now sell this at G to buy for 61.7 million. Ultimately, it's just like that is giving us, for the fact that I paid about 56 million for it. And that's also including that thing here. Yeah, this is like 61, 700, 1, 2, 3. And that's given us roughly about a 10% profit margin on this. So it's just like, I mean, I just, ultimately, like, of course, obviously, I still have to go take this and send it to Jita and get it to Jita and sell it. But ultimately, that does it. That's it's showing you where it is. Again, the things that I put up there was a relatively small amount. Obviously, the more you get, the more you make, percentage wise. But that is the gist of ore reprocessing. Now, with this stuff here, what I usually do here at this point in time is I'll actually usually contract this out to the corp and have people, because like I said, I have this tritanium here too. I'll contract this out to the corporation, as I did in a previous Joe's orientation video showing you our hauling. And one of our haulers is going to go pick this up and bring it back to Oracell for us to use. And it's just like, other than that, you can do whatever you want with it. If you buy it from the contracts from us, we don't expect you to sell it back to us if you don't want to, but we do buy it back. And let's just do a quick little math with that. And so our buyback would be... So yeah, our buyback would be kind of break even on this one. It's like, but again, it's just like it's sheerly about the lack of this, and then also actually, it's just like the amount that we actually paid for it was a little bit more above Gita buy price for it. So if I go and I take it, if I took the fact that what Gita buy price currently is, it's just like with that, it's just like you'd be making about 5 million ISK off of this little thing. So it's like a really quick little thing. You just bought stuff, moved it 3 systems away, refined it, and made quick 5 million ISK. Now, if you sit there and add in the fact that I could have brought some simple ore with me, I could have brought some ice with me, I could have brought some gneiss with me and stuff like that, you can definitely make some money. Again, this is just a little content that we provide. It's just like, it's a decent way to make money. It's completely up to you what you want to do with it. Yeah. So, other than that, I hope this helped you in understanding reprocessing mechanics in the game and stuff like that. I do know that a lot of people, specifically in our alliance, have been asking and with it, so that's why I wanted to make this little video on it. It can be very lucrative. There are often times actually that I'm able to actually go and find ore for sell price on the markets and actually refine it profitably. It's just like, so that is another avenue you can go down if you want to go into refining. But ultimately, that's the gist of it. If you would like to know more about this, or if you would like to join the community at Joe's Saloon, please feel free to hop in our Discord. The link is going to be down below. And thank you very much for watching.